Welcome to One Plate Kitchen, where we cut through the nonsense and educate how food is our greatest medicine. Our mission is simple. It's to save you money at the grocery store, save you time in the kitchen, and get you healthy. Using our 5 B's to healthy eating, we'll make meals that are delicious and nutritious. And it doesn't have to be complicated. We're going to make it simple, easy, and fast. I promise. I'm Chef Rich, and this is One Plate Kitchen. Now, I love being in the kitchen, but when I get the opportunity to be outside, get some fresh air, and cook, I'm all over it. Today we're going to be making some chicken kibbe kebab with some grilled vegetables and a green pea and 7 whole grain rice, all on the grill. Now the best thing about this is, besides it's delicious, is it's less dishes to wash. So on that note, let's get cooking. So what are we using today? Today our ingredients are some frozen green peas. Gotta love the frozen veg. We have some zucchini, we have some squash, we have an orange bell pepper. Now, it doesn't have to be orange. It can be green, it can be red, it can even be a jalapeno if you like it spicy. We have onion, we have Roma tomatoes, we have some fresh parsley, some fresh mint, and then we have some cilantro. We have our 1 plate herb salt, which is amazing. And then we have a bunch of different spices here. Now, the ones that we have here, we have cumin, we have garlic powder, we have some cinnamon, and then we have allspice. We have some freshly ground black pepper, and then we have our 7 grain rice, which is ready pre-cooked. We have our yogurt, which is a Greek yogurt, but again, it can be any kind of yogurt you have, but try to make it a flavorless one, like a vanilla. And then we have our chicken. Now, our chicken is already cut up and it's chicken breast. Now, again, if you didn't have chicken breast, if you wanted to use chicken thighs, it'll work just as fine. So that's totally up to you. So one of the things I love about this dish is the simplicity of how to make it. All we're gonna do right now is kind of just cut up all these ingredients, put them in the food processor and just blend it all together. So first we got to get these prepped up. So what I wanna do is take my pepper and get this prepped up and ready. So again, we just cut the bottom, cut the top. And the reason we cut it like this is we don't wanna waste anything. So we have that and that, this goes into the garbage. Then again, all we're going to do is kind of roll it and slice, roll it and slice, roll it and slice. Now what this does is it allows us to just get the parts that we want and get rid of the parts that we don't want. Now again, I'm just going to take this, chop it up. It doesn't have to be any special thing because remember, the food processor is going to chop it all up. I just want to give it a rough chop. So don't spend a lot of time on these. Now again, it could be a green bell pepper, red bell pepper. This could even be a jalapeno if you wanted it to be, if you wanted it spicy. So that's done. Now I hear all these crazy things. How do you cut an onion so you don't cry? And I hear all this stuff. You put it in the freezer, you put a mask on, you light a match, all this crazy stuff. None of that stuff really works. So don't try. You'll just, you put a mask on, you'll just look like a fool with a mask on cutting onions. The quickest way where you don't cry is just to cut it quickly. So we just cut it down, chop it, and that's it. Onion, cut. So now we'll move on to the herbs. So again, fresh parsley, just a rough chop. Just give it a rinse, just to get any sand or grit that may be on there, but just a rough chop. Cilantro, same thing, just a rough chop. Now what we're going to do is just get it all in the bowl. And this just makes it easier for us to get it into the food processor. So we're just going to mix this up. I want everything to kind of be incorporated well. So we just mix it up. And you can see all this means a lot of flavor. So we mix that up. Next thing that's going to go in is our spices. So here we have some garlic, we have some cumin, allspice, and then some cinnamon. They're already pre-measured, so all we're going to do is just dump them right in. Oh my goodness, I wish you could smell that. It smells amazing already. Now here we have an ingredient that, again, it might be a little bit unusual. I don't want to say weird, but unusual to cook with. Here we have some yogurt. So we're just going to take that and get all that in there. And again, don't worry about it. I know I haven't said anything about any amounts or measurements. Go to the website, you can get all the recipes you want from there, and it has all the exact measurements there. So now we're just gonna mix this up a little bit. Now what goes in next? We're gonna add a little bit of our 1 plate herb salt, which is amazing. Some freshly ground black pepper. Just a little bit of our whole grain rice. Now the reason we want to add some of the whole grain rice is, one, it gives it a really nice flavor and texture, but also it allows us to cut down on the meat protein. Now I don't have to use a full pound, I could use maybe 3/4 of a pound because I can add more of the grains in there. So we'll add some of that. And then our last ingredient is going to be the chicken. Now again, can be chicken thighs, can be chicken breast, can be turkey if you wanted to use turkey, and it also could be fish. I mean, it's totally up to you which protein you want to add, but we'll add that in. And now we just mix it all together. I wish you could smell this because it really smells amazing. You can see that all this color, all these textures translate into good flavor. So now next step, we go into the food processor. Let the machine do all the work. So now, before we start working on this, we got to get the grill ready. So first thing we got to do is make sure this is heated up. Because remember, rule number 1 of all cooking is to make sure the equipment is waiting on you. So while this heats up, let's get back to the pureeing. So now what we have is our mix. We want to make sure we're really careful with this, and we don't want to overload it. One of the mistakes that we'll make with the machine is if we overload it, it won't puree right and it'll get all stuck and broken. So we want to be careful with that. So now to make this, all we're going to do is start loading up our machine with all this amazing chicken and veg. And I wish you could smell it because it just smells amazing. I can't wait to try this. I think we're going to cut short because I just want to eat these. So we're going to do about half now, and we'll do it in 2 batches and then the other half. So now we'll put the lid on. Make sure it's secure. So it's always good to give it a couple pulses first, and it's just so the machine gets ready, and then just let it go. Now how long do we let it go? We want to make sure everything is kind of chopped up well, and it's all pureed, so it's easier to form, kind of like a meatball almost is what we're going to make. You see how it all starts to come together? That's a good sign that you know it's pretty much there. So we'll take it out, undo it, and take a look. You can see it looks amazing. And one of the things that we're looking for is, you see how it kind of sticks together? That's a good sign, because this type of kebab versus the other type of kebab, what's the difference? With the other type of kebab, what we'll do is we'll take pieces of chicken like this, and we'll just skewer our skewer. Now what happens with that is it tends to burn. People put sauces on there that are really sugar-based, and they burn too quickly, or they don't have the right temperature on there. Or if they put vegetables with it too, the vegetables overcook before the chicken is even halfway done. The way we're going to do it today, it's going to be a lot easier because now we'll have just one even piece, vegetables and everything mixed in with the chicken, and it'll cook a lot more even. Less chances to burn. Smells delicious. So now we got our mix ready to go. What you got to do with this though is get it in the fridge because we got a little more work to do. So now since the chicken is done and it's in the refrigerator, get it nice and cold, we got to work on the grilled veg. So what do we have to do for this? So we have our zucchini. All we're going to do is cut the top and bottom. Now this is a different way of cooking it, where I know a lot of people haven't done. What they usually do is they'll take zucchini and they'll throw it in the oven, or they'll try to saute it and it comes out all mushy and disgusting. Yeah, we want to change that, and we want to make sure that you have something that tastes amazing and that looks really good. So all we're going to do to these is we're going to take them, cut them in half, and then we'll just take it and cut it in half again. I don't want to cut it one more time because remember, we're going to put this on the grill. If I were to do it one more time, it would give me even a smaller surface to grill on. I want to have the largest surface I can to be able to get some good grill marks and flavor on it. So that's it for that. Same thing with this one. We'll take this, cut it in half. And the same thing with these, our zucchini. All we're going to do is cut it in half so we have a nice grilling surface to work with. And you'll see, the larger it is also, it gives you a little bit more time. So even if I leave it in there for like a minute too long, it still buys me some time where it won't be overcooked and mushy. It'll still have some nice bite to it. So what else are we going to put in there? So we have our zucchini and squash. We also have half of an onion. Now again, this onion, all I'm going to do is take the wrap right off and just leave it just like this. I want to grill the whole thing just like that. That way I still get that onion flavor, but I get that nice charred flavor in there as well. And then we have tomatoes. Most people don't grill tomatoes, which is kind of hurtful to me inside, in my heart, because a grilled tomato is delicious. Now, how do we get a grilled tomato? All we're going to do is take it, cut the top off, and again, same thing. We're just going to cut it in half, just like this. So as we put it on there, it gets a nice char on the outside, but the inside and all that water and all that juice stays really moist and juicy. So again, just take that, chop it up. Take that, chop it up. So the process of this is pretty straightforward and easy. Now what do? We're going to get a little bit of olive oil in here. A little bit of our 1 plate herb salt, which is amazing. And then a little bit of freshly ground black pepper. Now all we're going to do is just give this like a little shake. Now again, if you wanted to use your hands, you could. If you wanted to use some spoons, you could. If you wanted to be fancy and impress people, you'll just toss it just like this. So one of the things a lot of people don't know is when to put the food on the grill. So let's go check it out and we'll get some steps on how to do this. First thing you want to do is you want to look at the grill and make sure it's nice and clean. You can see ours has already been scrubbed, so it's nice and clean. Second thing we want to do is make sure the temperature is good. Now you'll see a lot of them have temperature gauges on top, which is fine. It's a good read or judge. But again, it doesn't necessarily mean the grate itself is at the temperature that we want it to be at. So how do we know that's ready? I want you to put your hand over it. You should be able to hold it over there for about 3 seconds. So you want to put it over 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. By 3, you should have to pull your hand away because it is pretty hot. So crucial part, probably one of the biggest tips I can give you when making these, is to make sure your hands are wet. If they're not, like your mix, I promise you is going to stick to your hand and not to the skewer itself. So now we just want to go around, and it'll take some practice. I promise you it's going to take some practice to be able to get this to stick on. But again, one of the biggest problems that you'll see is that if your hands aren't wet, it'll stick to your hand and it'll actually pull away. All right, if your hands are wet, you can actually mold it to get it where you want. So we'll just make a few of these. do now is just get them on the grill. They look amazing, they smell amazing, and I'm starving. Oh, you hear that? That's what we want to hear. That nice sizzle. So just gently let them sit on the grill. You can hear, oh my goodness, the smell. Amazing. Now while we got those going, I also want to get my vegetables going at the same time. So again, give them a little toss. So the way we put food on the grill is also crucial. I don't want to just dump everything on. I want to make sure we get nice grill marks, so I want to put it on evenly. Now we already talked about how hot the grill should be. So if I'm using tongs like these, small ones, not good because you can see my hand is always over the flame at the same time. All right, so what's going to happen is I'm going to have some burnt knuckles, going on with the food. All right, I want to have an appropriate pair of tongs. These, you can see, I can turn food over from my living room and still not burn my hand at all. All right, so we want to make sure you get the right size tongs. So now we're going to start getting some of this veg on. Now again, when we put it down, we want to make sure the cut side that we initially did, that's the side that goes down first. So again, we'll just, oh, did you hear that? Can you hear that? Sounds amazing. So we're just going to get these down. We'll get some tomatoes in there too because tomatoes are delicious and we love tomatoes. I want to get this onion in the back so it can hide out. We have a lot of space on the grill, so I want to utilize it. I want to get as much food on there as I can. Tomatoes everywhere. I mean, if you look at it too, it looks beautiful. You have so much color on the grill, which eventually is going to go on the plate, which is going to translate into amazing flavor. So what do we do now? Just close it up and wait. All right, so now let's open it up and let's take a look at the veg because it smells amazing. Now, how do I know this veg is ready? Now you can see on the outside it's starting to sweat, which is good, and I can feel it. It's starting to feel a little tender. So now all I'm going to do is just go in there and flip over these pieces. And you can see we have some really nice char marks on there, which is a characteristic of a properly grilled item. It's not burnt, but we have some really nice char marks on it, and that's what we want. Remember, that char is going to equal flavor. So I'm going to turn these over in the back. Again, these long tongs really help for stuff like that. And you can see my onion fell apart, which is okay because I can just kind of push it all back together. Now my tomatoes, I haven't really touched my tomatoes at all. With tomatoes, if I kind of get in there with my tongs, it's a little bit more difficult to flip them over. So what do I like to use? I like to use a spatula. Now we have all different kinds of spatulas. I like to use a real man spatula. Now if you don't have one of these, it's okay. It's a very special spatula. If you have to use a regular one, go for it. I'm going to show you how to use a regular one. Now again, we'll go right under the tomato and just kind of give it a little flip over. And you can see that charring that's on the tomato, that equals a ton of flavor. So I'm going to turn over all my tomatoes, making sure I don't burn myself. And you can see we're getting a lot of char marks on there, and that's great. That's what we want. Ooh, that is pretty hot. And I'm going to turn over this last one right here. And then we're going to check on the chicken while we're here to see how that is. And I'm going to just give it a feel. Now you can feel it. It feels nice and firm to the touch. So I'm going to say these are pretty much done, ready to come out. So now it's time to pull all this off. But before I start pulling that off, I want to get the rice going. Now we have our cast iron pan that's been on here getting hot. That's great. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to heat up my rice, because remember we already said it was ready cooked. So I'm just going to add some of my 7-grain rice to it. Now I'm also going to add some of my frozen peas. Now we're just going to mix this up. And heat this up. What I don't want to do is add salt to this. Now normally for a rice dish, yeah, we would always add some salt to it, but I want to keep this kind of sweet. We have a lot of spices and a lot of flavor going on down here. I want to have kind of like a sweet component, and our frozen peas give us the exact sweetness that we're looking for. So now I can look at my veg right here and see how tender it is. Okay, we don't want to cook it more than that, because if we do, what's going to happen is it's going to get really mushy and break down, and that's not what we want. So we'll take these off. We're going to put them back in the same bowl. I'm going to get my tomatoes off too, because these are looking amazing. And you can see all that nice flavor and char that's on that. That's what we want. We want a lot of that char. I'm going to get this off because it's looking amazing. Get my onions. I'm going to get these tomatoes, last bit of tomatoes off. Now there's a couple things we can do. If we wanted to, I could take this whole thing and just chop it up, or I can serve it in big whole pieces. I prefer the big pieces because it looks nicer. So I'm going to put these over. Now I'm also going to take all the chicken off. Now it doesn't make sense to have such an amazing man spatula and not use it. So we're always trying to find ways to use it. So what we'll do here is just get all our chicken taken off all in one shot. Not only can I take it off the grill from here, but I can also serve it right on this thing. It doesn't get any more manly than that. Let's go. Now all I'm going to do is just lower this a little bit to the lower level and just kind of mix it up a little bit. And we also have to add mint to this, but we're not going to add it right now. We'll add the mint at the end. So it really, the heat of here will really heat up the oils that's in that mint, and you'll get a really flavorful mint dish then. So I'm going to close this up and get back to the chicken. Now we got our mint all chopped up. I'm going to put this aside and get this ready. Now for my veg, I'm just going to take a couple pieces and just chop it up. So we'll just take them and just give them a little slice. So you can see it still has texture to it, it still has body, but it's still super tender and juicy. You can see how much juice is coming off of that, how much liquid. So it's going to be super flavorful. So again, we'll also get a little bit of this tomato, because that's going to be amazing as well. And then a couple pieces of this charred onion. So again, we don't need to get a bowl to kind of mix this all up. We can do it right here on the cutting board. So just kind of toss it all together. And now we'll start plating up. Because I don't know about you, but I am starving. And this looks amazing. So again, we want a lot of color. Remember, the more color you get on here, the more nutrition that you're getting. All right, and again, the more nutrition, the more vitamins and minerals, and the less chronic illness we have to deal with. So we're just gonna get a good amount of vegetables in there. I want to make sure we get all our vegetables, because that's important. I mean, the meat is good, but the vegetables really make the dish. So we got that. Now we got to get our rice off of the grill. Oh, so that's nice and hot. We're going to add our mint to it. Oh, and you can see all that steam coming off. So now I'm going to add some of my 7-grain rice with peas and mint. And finally, the Kabobs. Oh my goodness. This looks amazing. This dish just, it makes your mouth water just looking at it. Almost brings a tear to your eye. So there you go. 4 meals for under $20. Loaded with vitamins and minerals and nutrition. And most importantly, a little bit of Chef Rich love. So just like I promised you, saving you money, saving you time, getting you healthy, one plate at a time. God bless, and I'll see you next week.